Here's my bottle ready to revolve. I want to make sure these are not grouped. I want to deal with these one at a time. I might apply the same revolve to them, but I have to deal with them separately because when you get to the map art stage of the project, you want to be able to find the right surface easily. And this is going to have a lot more surfaces than a sphere. So Effect, 3D, Revolve. And this is rotated from the wrong side, which if I want a goblet, that's a good way to do a goblet. But I'm not doing a goblet. I'm doing a bottle. There's my bottle. And if I go to Map Art, this will show me with a red outline where the surfaces are that I have selected. This is surface 1 is inside the neck. Surface 2 is just inside the mouth. 3 is a little ring down here inside. 4 is inside. 5 is inside. 6 is inside. 7 should be the outside bottom, probably the outside bottom. This is the inside bottom, and now we're going up the outside. Usually the outside is on the left side as you're looking at this preview. If I test it, I usually use the vector grime, stick the vector grime on here, and see if it shows up on my bottle, and then I know I'm on the right side. This is the back side, so you can't see it. If I go back through and find the inside and put a vector grime, I tell you what, I'll put this ribbon thing on the inside. Okay, I can't see that because I've got a solid color bottle. Now, one important thing for the map art, when we make our bottle translucent, you don't want to use the shade artwork because it tends to make the label translucent also. And say OK. To make a bottle transparent or translucent, note that there are two opacities here in the appearance palette. This one is the entire object. This one is the fill. If I want the bottle to be translucent, I use the fill opacity, not the whole object opacity, because that would make everything translucent. Like if I do this, you can see through my label or my ink spot. But if I use this one, I can make the bottle transparent and you still see the outside of the bottle in full intensity, and you can see that I have this spiral design on the inside of the bottle. If I need to edit that, again, never, ever, ever go back up to the effect pull down and hit 3D revolve again. You will lose your work. You will mess up. You'll have to shut down the program. You may have to shut down the computer and restart. Go to 3D revolve. Do any editing you need here. You want to put another light in. You want to put, say, 2 on this side. Maybe you want a backlight over there, edge light over there. Gives a little more definition to the bottle. One more. Put it over here. A high one and a low one there to have that brighter on that side. If I'm getting too much light, I could decrease my light intensity so that I'm not blowing out the highlights. If I want to change the rotation, change the perspective, I can do that all. But I do it by going to the appearance palette only and clicking on 3D revolve. Never the pull down. Okay, let's say my grape juice inside here, whatever it happens to be, also needs 3D revolve. More than likely, if I apply 3D revolve right here, it will apply the last 3D revolve to that other object, and that looks about right. If I want a bottle cap, let's see if I got a bottle cap here. Here's a bottle cap. This is Massimo's, a product of the ZYX Corporation. I'm going to turn off the 3D revolve, and you see that's the shape for a bottle cap. It's a rounded corner rectangle cut in half. 3D revolve, map art. It has 5 surfaces. This is the top. This is the bottom part where it rounds under. This is the rim, and this is that top curve if I wanted to put a pattern or a border or something on there. I have a ZYX logo here. This CYX logo is a symbol because it was dragged to the symbol palette. Here's my symbol palette. If I want to edit this after it's been made into a symbol, go to the object pull down and expand, and I'll just expand the object. And then let's say I want to take my direct select tool and select all the black letters. I could ungroup this and do that. You could go into isolation mode. Here, isolation mode on this part, and let's say I make that white with no outline. Back to my symbol palette. Take this new version of the logo, drag it onto the symbol palette. Say it's a graphic, it's a static symbol. And then I could go back to my bottle cap, and in my appearance palette, click on 3D Revolve, go to Map Art, and instead of this logo, put in this logo. I'll put it right there. It's a little big. I'll hold the Shift key to constrain, scale it down some, maybe slide it back this way so it wraps around there, and that's a bottle cap. When you make a bottle cap, copy this bottle cap and move it over to my newest bottle, Command V, and put it on here. Now that's not at the right perspective. I'm going to select my bottle and 3D Revolve. Let's see, this is at -18, -26, 8. Okay, I'm going to select this one. -18, -26, 8. Oops, that's 9. 8. Okay, so that's at the same perspective as my bottle. Now what happens when you have two objects and the center of this one is up here and the center of this one is down here? They have two different horizons. They have different sets of vanishing points. So for example, let's say this is my bottle's perspective and I put a cap above it at the same perspective. You can see that that doesn't look correct because the higher object is vanishing to vanishing points that are on a different horizon. To give the illusion that this cap is actually on this bottle, I need to take the angle for this axis and reduce it by 3 or 4 degrees, maybe 5 degrees. And actually, I think these are a little peculiar. So that looks more like it's in the same perspective, whereas Command Z, probably that horizon is up here somewhere. This bottle, the horizon is probably somewhere around there. Actually, it may be higher than that. Let's see. Yeah, actually, it's probably a lot higher than that, but it's not that high. So if you put a cap on the bottle to give the illusion that they are in the same perspective, you have to tilt the cap slightly more because otherwise they appear to be vanishing to different horizons. What else can we do? Well, you may have noticed I've got a stopper in my bottle, and the stopper is two pieces. There's a stopper that is behind the bottle. There's a copy of it in front of the bottle that has a clipping mask. So if I double click on this and go to the isolation mode, you can see here's the stopper and here's the clipping mask that matches the curve of the mouth of the bottle. Over here, you see this bottle, fine product of the ZYX Corporation. This bottle has a cork in it, and the cork is simply half of a rounded corner rectangle revolved, and a texture from the texture swatch library made into a symbol is applied to the top surface and the edge and the side. And what I did was just explore some different textures and see which one made it look more corky. That is a symbol because it was created from that. I tried that one. I thought that was too cluttered looking, too dark for my cork. There's a cork behind the bottle. There's a cork in front of the bottle with a clipping mask to match the rim of the mouth. You get to redesign Massimo's logo. This is an example of an effect you've already learned how to do because this is offset path applied to the Massimo's type. A lot of people like to do script on this because the original was script. I really don't see the need to do it as script. But if you do choose to do it as script, some things you may want to know about script. So here's Massimo's in, I think that's brush script. Let's see, Command T. Yeah, brush script. And you can tell by the baseline that baseline shift was applied to the apostrophe because, frankly, for a logo, the default position of the apostrophe seems too high to me for a logo. I like to bring it back in closer. The other thing you'll notice is that I've got a whole lot of kerning on this. I'm going to set the kern to 0. This is the default spacing for brush script, and as a logo, this looks terrible. This will be true of a lot of the scripts where you will have to kern it. And you may want to kern it a lot. You may want to kern it more than a lot. It might be too much. And you might want to kern the S a lot. Maybe not that much. Perhaps about there. But then the apostrophe looks like it's wandering away. And you have to kind of find it there because it's kerned just about over the O. And perhaps give that some minus baseline shift. If you do something with a stroke, and I'm going to copy the color of this one up here, you'll notice the stroke chokes the letters and the hairlines, and it really doesn't look that good. In some places where the letters overlap because it's kern tight, it produces unsightly blobs. The best thing to do here is Command-Shift-O, convert it to an object, because that allows you to set the stroke palette to the outside, and then you're not doing bad things to your letter forms. The other thing you can do is, since you're going to treat it as a logo object anyway, Command-Shift-G, ungroup it, and on the Pathfinder palette, unite it into a single object, and that means you won't have any interruptions where the letters come together. Now there's some little steps there, which means probably at this point I should have untracked this slightly. Command T. Let's see, what do we got here? I'm going to set that to metric kerning, and that should give me smooth connections between the letters on a connecting script. And then kern my apostrophe, MIS, perhaps something like that. Then Command-Shift-O, convert it to an object. And then I'm torn between whether or not as an object I should connect the O and the S here. Probably not. Maybe. So I might just bring that up to there. I might have to move these points down a little. And then Command-Shift-G, ungroup, Pathfinder, unite, and then I can copy, say, this one, or maybe that one, and on the stroke palette, set the stroke to the outside so I don't choke the letters and make them difficult to read. Those are some considerations when you're designing logos that involve script typefaces and or apostrophes. I also have a lime here. The lime is made the same way as the cork. A wedge of lime is a wedge of a sphere. So if I go into my 3D Revolve, Appearance Palette, 3D Revolve, Map Art, actually before Map Art, you can see that this has a revolve angle of 36 degrees. That means I'm not doing a whole sphere, I'm doing 10% of a sphere. I'm at 36 degrees instead of 360 degrees, which would look like that. I'm at 36 degrees. In my Map Art, this is the back side, there's nothing on it. This is the wedge face. Let's see exactly where I want that lined up. What if I want to rotate that a little this way? Probably get it about there. And then this is the outside. That's all there is to the outside of a 36-degree revolve. So that's how it is, just a stock photo of a lime. And then there's one behind the bottle, and there's one in front of the bottle. The one in front of the bottle has a clipping mask to mask out where it would be inside the bottle. Now you don't have to have a lime because, frankly, we're doing salad dressing, and usually you don't put a lime in the mouth of a salad dressing bottle. Here's a script logo. It doesn't have the apostrophe S, but you can see in this logo, if the stroke is to the inside, it really doesn't help the legibility of the letters, especially at a smaller size. It starts to break things up. You could go down the middle of the stroke. Excuse me, that was down the middle. This is the inside, and that's even worse. This is to the outside, and then the letters retain their correct form.